Today guys, I'm going to take you on a tour to show you the different types of herbs I've been able to grow this year and the things that I do with my herbs when I harvest them, how I go about drying them and preserve them, and how I use them in my cooking and for teas. These are some of the things that I'm going to be overwintering. This ginger here is already planted in a 5-gallon bucket. This stevia right here is also in a 5-gallon bucket, and as you can see right here, there's a whole bunch of flowers on there, and I'm gonna take those seeds off. I'm gonna harvest those seeds, and I am gonna save it to try planting it next year, even though they're kind of difficult and challenging to germinate. This is a rosemary bush that I had here for a couple years, and it thrives really well. I harvest a lot from it, and it's looking so healthy still. This right here is a lemongrass that I'm also going to overwinter, and I have it in this pot right here. I got to clean up the base of it and get rid of all the dry spent leaves. I also have this aloe vera here, and it's growing really nice and thick. It also did send out a couple of pups here. I don't know, I think you call it pups. But there's one here and another one here that I'm gonna transplant. I've had it for a couple years. I think it's even putting out more, but I'm probably only gonna take one of these out, the bigger of the two, and I'm gonna transplant that. I also have this German thyme here, and I grew this from seed, and so it's gonna stay in this container, and I'm gonna overwinter it also. This here is some peppermint that I have growing in this container, and as you can see, it's really thick in there. I have harvested so much peppermint from this, and it's gonna come back again every year, but I do have it in the container because I don't want it to become invasive. I do use it fresh, but I have dried some so I can make my tea bags and have it to use during the winter time. Here I have a Greek oregano, and I'm also going to overwinter this. Next I have this curled leaf parsley growing in a grow bag, 5-gallon grow bag, and we'll see how that does and how far I can grow it. I've never tried to overwinter it before, but all I wanted to do was really to keep it growing until it goes to seed, and so that's what I'm going to try to do. This is also a parsley, but it's a different variety. It's a flat leaf variety, and it's also in a grow bag. I'm gonna try to push it as far as it can go indoors and see what my experiment is going to turn out to be. Here I have some lemon thyme. It's really good. It makes really good tea. And I need to do another harvest. Look how much it's grown. But it's also in a 5-gallon grow bag. And I like the grow bags because you can hold on to the handle. There's a handle over on this side, another one on this side. So you can just pick it up with both your hands, and it'll be really easy to carry. I have just like a crazy cilantro growing here. And I planted it in July so I can have cilantro for the fall, but it's bolted. It's gone to seed, and so I'm going to save this. It's a lot here. I'm going to have some seeds to plant next year. And I'm also going to have some coriander. And that's the seeds right here. The seeds of the cilantro plant, it's called coriander, and it's also a seasoning you can use in your cooking. Here I have some more thyme. It's a whole abundance of thyme that I really do need to harvest, but I'm dragging my feet because I've had so much over the summertime and I've been able to sun dry a lot of it that I have an abundance of it. But I am going to get to harvesting that at some point before it gets too cold out. But so far it's doing really well. And so I'm not, in a hurry to harvest it. Here I have some more rosemary in this strawberry planter. And I planted it there so that it can deter the bugs from eating the strawberry leaves. But I'm gonna harvest that and probably dehydrate it because at this point in the season there's not enough sun to sun dry it. It's been raining a lot lately, so I'm just probably gonna throw it in my dehydrator. Okay, here I have some more rosemary. Okay, there it is. Seems so dark back here, but the sun's out, so I don't know why it's so dark back here. But here I have some more rosemary going. All through here is rosemary. I have some more thyme low here. I planted a lot of herbs this year because it tends to deter some of the caterpillars and butterflies and all the pests that, gives your leaves and plants a hard time to grow and just eat on them. Here I have some walking onion, some Egyptian walking onion. I gotta harvest more of those. And here are my sage plants. And some lemon balm. And some bee balm. I have right here on my deck, in my deck boxes, I guess I'm gonna go up there. This, we call it big thyme in Grenada. I don't know what it's really called, or Spanish, I don't know the right name, but that's what I know it as. I have a basil left at the end of the season for it. But I have over here a lot of chives that I need to harvest. And so I'm gonna come in and harvest them. This is another one of that big thyme plant. It's good with fish and seafood. And I have some more cilantro here that I'm gonna get the seeds from. It's all drying out. And I have, I think, a Chinese pink celery left. I keep breaking the branches off so I can put it in my cooking. I have one more box here that I have some thyme in that I grew from seed this year. This is also the German thyme, and I put the seeds in June, and I have been harvesting from this planter here to put freshly in my cooking. The other ones in my garden that I harvest, I just usually dry them and store them up. But this, I need to do a good harvest on it. And so I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna harvest all these and dehydrate it and store it up. I do have some of the same herbs in different parts, and so that makes for an abundance of what I grow. Here you have another lemon balm. It's in a different spot, and look how good it's doing. It gets more sun than the first one I showed you. This is also a bee balm, and that's also doing better than the first one I showed you. I have more basil growing here in this 5-gallon bucket, and also some more oregano in this 5-gallon bucket. This here is also another sage plant. It's my original sage plant that I've had for 3 years now. And so I just split the root and I transplanted it into other spots, and it's right here in my strawberry bed. And I planted it there so that I can deter some of the bugs from the strawberries. Here in this bed of cabbage, this is my fall cabbage that I've planted, guys. Red acre cabbage. And I did plant another rosemary in there. This has been planted there since the spring, and I've been harvesting from it. And guys, look what I have. This right here is my saffron. Okay, if any of you know what saffron is, look, the flower is coming out already. This right here is what you would use, and the best time to harvest it is in the evening. Once you pull this out, there you have it. That's your saffron. The bulbs are going to multiply every year, so you would get a lot more saffron every year. The flowers are beautiful, so it's a 2-for. I get beautiful flowers in the fall, and I also get the saffron spice that I can use. And I've had them here for the past 3 years. And if you notice here, all throughout my garden, I have had basil planted. I do like to do companion planting, and that is basically to help deter the pests in the garden. I do also have another basil somewhere here. There it is. It's gone to seed. There's another one right there. There's another one over there in the back. And I just put them in my garden everywhere, especially when I have leafy greens and there's a lot of brassicas. I tend to plant herbs between them in the beds. Guys, did you know that marigold was a herb and you can use this as tea? So I do also plant these in my raised beds to deter the pests. And it's right here between these fall cauliflowers that I have here growing. I did plant some in between here too. Yep, so I just pretty much put them in everywhere in between. There's more rosemary here, and just herbs growing right here. There's a leek, more thyme growing through here. I have dill right down in the end of this raised bed. There's another thyme that I need to harvest. That's more marigold growing, lemon balm. This is also a lemon balm, and it's gone to seed, so I'm gonna have a continuous supply of lemon balm. This here is a plantain, and it came up in my garden. It's wild, but it's an herb, and so I just let it grow. I let it come up every year. I had to tell my husband, please do not go in there and take it out. It's not a weed, it's my medicine. I do have some more marigold growing in here between these kohlrabis. I have a few leek coming up here. I harvested some this year, and those probably stayed back, but I have it here growing on this raised bed. And I think this here might be either cauliflower or broccoli. I believe it's cauliflower. See, there's a tag here. Let's see what this tag says. Oh, it's cauliflower. I was right. I have had things like chickweed, wild lettuce, plantain, like a lot of different edibles that would come up in my garden every year. And so I use that also as food, as medicine. I use it in my teas and my cooking. And you know, I'm not giving you any advice as a medical professional here, but I do use them. You can do your own research and decide what you want to do for you. But I'm just telling you here what I'm doing for me and what I do and what I use. I did plant some ginger this year in a raised bed, and because it hasn't grown taller, I just feel like it didn't do as well. But I'm going to wait till the last minute that I can harvest it, and I would actually take them out and see, you know, how good they did. But that's not going to deter me. I'm going to be planting more next year. And I mean, I believe that it might. I'm not sure that it'll survive here because I've tried doing turmeric before and overwintering it and ginger, and it didn't happen. So that's why I have that one in that 5-gallon bucket in my garage that I'm going to overwinter and see how that goes. But maybe I should peek a little bit just to feel around. Ooh, I feel ginger, but I don't want to really disturb it as yet until I'm really ready to harvest it. I don't know how big, how much, or if that's just a mother. Oh no, actually there's ginger in there. I'm not ready to harvest it yet. I'm gonna push it as far as I can go, but I'm just gonna cover this back up and I will let it be. But yeah, these are my ginger. The leaves smell really good, and you can make tea also with the leaves if you want to, because it has that gingery flavor. So guys, what I ended up doing was to take this thyme plant out of the raised bed and transplant it in a grow bag. Here I have some chicken compost and a little bit of peat moss here, so I just mix this in, and I am going to just place the plant right here in the grow bag, and I'm going to overwinter it in my garage. It's a really nice healthy plant, and I don't think I want to leave it in a raised bed simply because I've done that before and it did not survive the winter. I'm not sure if it's because it didn't go to seed, so it wasn't able to reseed itself, but it did not come back at all, and I don't want to leave this healthy plant right here in this raised bed, you know, and take a chance that it may or may not come back. I have it right here. Look how healthy this is. Look how thick it is. So I can still harvest out of this over the winter. I may just cut it back a bit just to keep it healthy, you know. But look at this. It's in a 5-gallon grow bag, nice and thick. I will definitely have to harvest some of this out of here. But yeah, I'm gonna take it inside for the winter, and I'll bring it right back out next season. I also have here some cornflower, which is also known as Echinacea, and this is a good, really good immune booster. There's another plant right here, and so I use those in my garden as herbs, as an herbal remedy, and also to attract the pollinators. Some of the things I do with my herbs is that I put them in tea bags and I label them to use as tea during the colder months. Here I have basil tea, lemon balm, bee balm, and sage that I grew in my garden. I also have a lemon peel. I use the corn silk from the corn. I use orange peel. All I do is buy me some tea bags, and this is a box of, this is what I use. It's a box of 200 count, and it's 100% natural unbleached paper. And so I use these to fill with the dried herbs, and I just put it in the jar, and of course I put a moisture control pack in the jar with the tea to make sure that there's no moisture in there. This right here is some coriander that I harvested from my garden, and like I said, the coriander is the seeds from the cilantro plant. And so I use these in my cooking, and I just dry them, and when I'm ready to cook with it, I just use this mortar and pestle and I grind it in here and I use it in my cooking. Now, one thing I didn't show you guys was my lavender in my garden, but I do make oils. This is lavender oil I made last year. The date on here is 7/30/2021, and so I make oils that I can use in my hair and on my skin. This is bee balm oil here also, and this is a tincture. I do make tinctures too. This, I grew chamomile last year, and this is a chamomile tincture that I take. This right here is just some ginger that I was able to grate. I use a grater and I grate it and I dried it out. So I do also fill the tea bags with these and make a tea bag so I can have ginger tea. I also use grape leaves. I have some right here that I have dehydrated from my grapevine, and I use this also for tea. It's dry and I have it stored up here so I can have that to use. I have some Echinacea here also, and this is a cornflower. This I also grew in my garden. I have the flowers and the leaves in this bag here that I am going to be using for tea. I still have some rosemary here. I'm telling you guys, I have a lot of herbs. I have parsley here that I need to vacuum seal. That's a flat leaf one right here. And this is the curled leaf parsley. Parsley and raspberry leaf tea is really good, and so you should do your research. Don't take it from me. Do your own research and decide if you want to use that or incorporate that into your diet. I believe in herbs, and I believe there are benefits and properties in them that can benefit us as far as our health and preventing diseases and ailments of aging and things like that in the body, and maintaining your healthy cells, and that prevents you from having a disease or killing bad cells in your body, for your circulatory system, for your immune system boosting, for your brain function, for your eyesight, for your hair, nails, skin. Your skin is the largest organ in your body, and you do want to make sure that you keep your skin healthy. And as we're aging now, more so, we want to make sure that we're trying to stay as healthy as we possibly can. Well, for me, I do. And I try to stay ahead of the game and make sure I age well. I'm not trying to be way younger than I am. I'm just trying to have healthier practices because I know better. So I should be doing better and encouraging people to do better also. Even if I don't do it all the time, but it's just a reminder how important it is for us to be in good health. I do use a couple of herb books here, and I just want to share it with you. This one here is the New Age Herbalist Book, and this one I have here is the Encyclopedia Herbal Medicine Book. And this herbal book here, I have had it for over 15 years. First, it was published by Richard Mabey, and it was called The Back to Eden. But I was able to get a copy of this one. It's the same exact thing. So I have had not this one, specific one, but another one that was loaned to me, and I've had that book for 15 years, and I have been following it. In this book, it's my go-to book, like I said. And in this book, you would get all the remedies you would ever need, complaints, all the measurements that you should take your herbs in, which ones you should not be using at the same time, because there are obviously contraindications in medicine. And so you want to make sure you know what you're doing and that you educate yourself. And if you're going to disperse any information out there about that, you know, you want to make sure you know what you're talking about before you do. And so these are my two books that I go to. You don't have to get these exact ones if you are into herbs. And I think that even if you're just so used to taking herbs and, you know, you're not getting sick or you don't think you're doing any damage, you just want to make sure that you're on the right track. And so I use these books. They have pictures in them, and you can also go out in your yard or in your garden and be able to identify herbs that you can use, healthy, beneficial edibles in your garden that comes up naturally, and you can use those if you wish to use it. But like I said, I am not giving you any medical professional advice here. I'm just telling you how I live. These are the same plants that comes up in our garden that we may call weeds. They put it in a capsule. They take the extracts from them, put it in a capsule or in medicine, and sell it back to us. And it's not as potent as the natural herb that will grow in our garden. And so we need to be more smart, I believe. And it's my opinion that we should be more smart and be proactive in being knowledgeable about what we have available to us. And it's nature's own way of saying, you know, this is here, you can use this, this is available to you. And so we need to take that responsibility as growers, as human beings, to just educate ourselves, like I said, on the natural resources that we have available to us. So as you can see, I have a very useful thing that I do with my herbs that I grow, and hence the reason I grow so much. I make tea bags with them so I can use them as tea. I make oils so I can use on my skin and in my hair, and I also use it to make tinctures. I also use them in my cooking. Here I have some dehydrated herbs, and here is my dehydrator, and I am actually at work right now dehydrating all these herbs that I harvested earlier today. It's all filled in. I have thyme, a lot of thyme. I think I have some rosemary in these two bottom ones. So those are the herbs that I'm planting in my garden. If you have any tips on what I should try growing, any new herbs, any herbs that you see I don't have and you think I should try, please feel free to put it in the comments section below. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time right here on Fifi's Journey.